Here's what you can look forward to on this episode of The Nice Guys on Business.
What happens is that as you start to really heal yourself, that part of you that's longing for compassion, longing to be supported, longing to be loved, that part of you then says, now I remember that there's so much more that I can achieve in this world. Okay. And so then we start to listen more clearly, and the frequency expands like a radio wave, and it expands out. And then the universe goes, there you go. There's a beautiful opportunity and a beautiful gift. And that's what you're meant to experience.
Human beings were not meant to sit in little cubicles staring at computer screens all day, filling out useless forms and listening to 8 different bosses drone on about mission statements. We were meant to listen to the Nice Guys on Business podcast. Running a business is hard. Being a business leader is even harder. The Nice Guys bring in top industry pros to help your business prosper in a tough world. Get real advice from real people to get you real results today. Now it's time for the Nice Guys on Business. Here's your hosts, Doug Sandler and Strickland Bonner.
Okay, Nice Guy community, wise, well beyond her years on earth, Susan Kennard, known as the spiritual scientist, author, podcaster, and speaker, helps people interpret their spiritual awakenings or guides people to remember who they truly are and what their true potential is. Now, can we heal, or do we only heal with outside influence? Mentally, emotionally, spiritually, we're going to talk mind, body, and soul. Slight different subject matter than we usually deal with typical with our business topics. But I'm excited to have her back as a two-peat. I think she came on. When were you here? Susan, first of all, welcome to the Nice Guys on Business. Welcome back.
Thanks, Doug. Thanks for inviting me back. I'm excited to be here and share this space with you again. I can't remember when I was on.
I got it. I actually found it.
Ago.
I found it right here. October 2019, episode number 986. And I believe you'll be episode number 1445 or something like that along the way.
Wow.
On this.
Well, that would have been the start of my journey, right? Podcasting and writing my book. Amazing.
What's amazing is I've had a really good seat in the passenger side in watching this entire career of yours unfold, and I have never felt at any point along the way that you are insecure about the gifts that you have or the way that you present them to the world. So why don't you start there? For those that have no idea about who you are or what you do, share what you do with the world and why this is actually a very good show for you to be on, even though we're not talking to the community you normally talk to.
Sure, absolutely. Well, I don't mind who I talk to. Essentially, I call myself a spiritual scientist because I blend the science and the spiritual. And what that means is I help people to understand who they are from a science perspective, so from a healing science perspective, and from a spiritual perspective. So I'm a channel, different to some of your guests, but I'm a channel. I work with my guides, I work with Source. And I believe that my mission is to help people align to their mission. So I absolutely love what I do. It works on many different levels. So, sometimes people will come to me where their body is showing a message, so they have a physical problem going on with them. Sometimes it's to do with their career, their finances. Sometimes it's to do with their relationships. So people come with a certain aspect. And then after that, we just work together and the guides come in and we do lots of healing. And I help people really, truly align to their true gifts and why they're here in the world, really. That's kind of a shortened version.
No, that was great. I appreciate the concise answer there. And I feel like over the last probably 3 to 5 years, and maybe because I'm more indoctrinated into this world of, let's just call it the world of woo, even though that's not really at all all-encompassing, but it is kind of what people that are not spiritually aware, what they might call it, that's that woo-woo stuff, or that's that witchy stuff. And I feel like in the last 3 to 5 years, this has been an industry and an arena that really has taken center stage. And I don't think it's just because of my move to California from the East Coast. I think it is. So talk to my community about this
Sure.
centuries old but new science that we're all dealing with now?
Well, I mean, essentially a few things here. So the first thing is we're a soul having a human experience. And we forgot that. We forgot that, and it was suppressed for a long time. And I believe that what's happening now, and definitely I know when I met you in October of 19, there was a great awakening happening. And we didn't know what we were going to go through over the last couple of years we've been through. But there's been an incredible awakening where people have started to say maybe the job they're doing isn't right, the relationship they're in doesn't suit them, just doesn't work anymore. They've been looking at, how they've actually been earning their money. And is that in alignment with their integrity, their values, and other aspects? And I feel that I call it ascension. So I call it the ascension pathway. And we're waking up to who we're truly meant to be in the world. And it doesn't matter what you do. You can be, a podcaster like you and me, or you can be doing something completely different. You can be a gardener. But as long as it actually really feeds your soul and you feel this sense of fulfillment from it, then that is really about our awakening to who we are. And we're not meant to suffer. We're not meant to have these, parts of us where we say, oh my God, I've got to get up in the morning, go to work. That's not what we're meant to be experiencing. We're meant to be experiencing our true GPS. Our soul is talking to us all the time, and it's like a GPS for us. And we just have to listen to it. And we all have, whether people believe it or not, we all have an ability to connect to our higher self. And some people call it God, some people call it the universe, source, it doesn't matter. But it is that part of us that has all the knowing and all the answers that we don't really need to look outside of ourselves for. But we have to come home to that. And that, I think, is really, really important. And that's what's really been happening and continues to happen right now. If you look at the UK and you look at the States, we're actually saying, can we actually rely on somebody else to run our country? So we need to say, actually, I need to be self-sufficient. I need to understand who I am so that I can actually make my way in the world. And perhaps the old way that we used to be is outdated.
So you mentioned something, and I want to come back to this comment that you said, because I think it's so true. We are not meant to be suffering. And yet so many people go through their life, however you define suffering. Suffering doesn't mean that you are, you're nailed to a stake. Suffering could mean you're getting up, you're putting your feet on the floor, and you're actually having a challenging time every day. And you're basically caught in this rut of chasing the dollar or chasing whatever you consider success. We don't have to be suffering, but I want to help my community connect with themselves or connect with source, because source is, okay. So how do we take the first step in stopping the suffering when we feel like there's got to be more to what we're doing in life than what we are doing right now? And when I say we, I mean you specifically when you are doing this. How do you connect with yourself or connect with source?
So I think the key thing is firstly to look at your life. And so that is sort of almost like a mirror. So if you look at your life and you say, right, this piece here, I'm not too keen on that, and I'm not too keen on that, and doesn't make me feel that good about myself. Or you look at yourself and you think, I'm not really, I feel like I need to be something else and I'm not that. That's where it first starts, because then you take responsibility for that. And you have to take responsibility for what you've attracted. And that is a massive part of it, Doug, because we spend our time blaming other people and saying, this person did this to me. We've all done it, right? And so, this person did this to me, this person, betrayed me, or this person took my money or whatever. But when you look at it, actually, this all comes down to, and I'm a psychologist and a psychotherapist, so that's kind of my old life. But when we look at that, we can say these were triggers that happened from our early experiences. And so those, we all have that, right? And our inner children that we have within us are always running the show. Okay, so they're always running the show. So someone might say, you've got this opportunity to speak on a stage. Let's just say, for example, one of my favorite things, and yours too. But if you, when you first started out, there probably would have been a child in you saying, oh my God, I don't know if I can do this. I don't know if I can do this. And that is the part of us that when we start to heal those parts of us and we start to realize that we can be anything, do anything, and achieve anything, that's the inner work. So the way that I would help someone is to work with the inner child, work with those traumas, work with those perceptions of belief. And I have lots of amazing processes that I do, which are actually in my book as well. And so we target that first, and then we look at what's actually transforming in your life, because actually you can see very quickly that your perceptions of the world, of your job, of the people you live with, of your family, whatever it might be, and yourself changes very quickly. And it is not talking therapy. That is old. We can talk till the cows come home, and we can just keep banging our head against the wall and saying, that was awful, that happened to me. But we don't actually get anywhere with that. And in fact, what we do is we actually just keep it within us because we're in that victim state, and no judgment with that, but we're in that victim space. And so we just, when we actually start to do that work, we can start to transform our outside world, which is actually a reflection of our inner world. And that is where I would start with someone. And then after that, it's fine tuning. It's really fine tuning. And what happens is that as you start to really heal yourself, that part of you that's longing for compassion, longing to be supported, longing to be loved, that part of you then says, now I remember that there's so much more that I can achieve in this world. Okay. And so then we start to listen more clearly, and the frequency expands like a radio wave, and it expands out. And then the universe goes, oh, there you go. There's a beautiful opportunity and a beautiful gift. And that's what you're meant to experience. We're meant to, I know you have a great life. I have a great life. And you're meant to experience these amazing opportunities of freedom. We're not meant to be in that, going back to the suffering. We're not meant to be in mediocre lives. We're meant to be in abundant, free experiences.
I think what's really interesting about what you're saying is, and I'll take it out of the world that you live in every day and talk to the world that probably most of our entrepreneurs live in every day, and it is the world of receiving what you put out to the world. And Henry Ford said it best, probably, whether you think you can or you can't, you're right. And the law of attraction will provide you with whatever you are putting out there to the world. So if that energy that you put out to the world is negative, trauma, not that anybody would wish suffering upon themselves, but it's your mental attitude and your state and the frequency that you are vibrating at, which is creating that suffering for you. If you're going through that every day, I hate to say this because I want to be gentle, but I want to remove the velvet off the sledgehammer for my community and say, guys, you're bringing this on yourself. And you're bringing it on yourself by the frequency that you are attracting to you. If you go to JJ says it all the time. If you go to a radio and you're looking for Latin music and you're tuned into a hip hop station, you are never going to hear Latin music. You've got to tune into the hip hop station in order to hear hip hop. In order for you to achieve success, you've got to believe it in order to receive it back. And it's not just this hopeless, oh my God, I want a Lamborghini thought. It's how do I create the energy and the vibration that I need in order to actually sit in the success, the Lamborghini or whatever it is that you want, it will come. But you can't be holding out your hand and saying, come to me, Lamborghini, on one side, and saying on the other side, this will never happen. It's just not going to happen. Yeah.
But it's not always conscious. So it's like, we in the old days, we used to do lots of affirmations, and there's nothing wrong with affirmations and dream boards, vision boards or anything. But it's the key thing is our frequency, which is what you said. Yeah. And we don't know what we don't know. But one of the really key things is to look at what you're attracting. So if you're always attracting abusive situations, who's the common denominator? Right. Yeah, it's you. And so if you're attracting no money in your bank and you've done that for so long, and it doesn't matter what you do, what work you do, you have loads of clients, but you still have no money, then there's something going, because that happens, right?
Yes, totally. I love it.
And so you have such a great, on the outside, it might look really good, but there's no money. then if there's no money, then there's something around your beliefs around, attracting it. And one of the key things is resentment. And, I work with a lot of people. I mean, I do some really, like, if you call it woo woo, I go to woo woo woo, right? And my guides come in and we do galactic light language, toning, and the Palladian Collective come in and they work with resentment. And when you're holding resentment in your heart frequency, there's not really a chance of bringing in pure frequency of love and abundance, because it just can't get in. No matter how much you believe you want it, as you said, the Lamborghini thing, it's really about love, and the frequency of love has to be within you so the universe can give you that reflection back. And resentment is a key one. And those lower, I call them curry vibrations, because, if you imagine eating curry's great, right? But not for breakfast, lunch and dinner and a snack at night. It's not something you want to eat the whole time. So that's guilt, shame, fear, loss, all of those frequencies. And if you kind of see them, you can see them as dense. But then when you look at acceptance, love, unconditional compassion, all of those beautiful emotions, you can sort of see fruit, veg, things that are lighter in their frequency. And imagine if you were eating that all day, you'd probably be okay, right? You wouldn't feel heavy. So probably because I'm a naturopath, I like analogies with food.
Yeah, that was good. That was good. I do happen to like curry. I think I could eat it for breakfast, lunch, dinner, and a snack for at least a short period of time, but for a long period of time, no, it starts to get all in your clothes and everything, and then you stink.
And it comes out your pores, right? And you stink.
Yeah, totally.
But so, you can see that analogy and kind of get it in your mind. And another analogy I really like is, when you're really healing yourself and you're really working with who you truly want to be in the world, it's a bit like getting a suitcase, and you have your suitcase, you've got a load of stuff in it, and you literally tip it out on the floor and you start to fold things up and put them in. And, miraculously, there is space for other things, right? Because everything is tidied up a little bit, and some things you just don't wear anymore and you just give those to the charity. And so there's actually space for you. And that's what I call really looking at, those true inner workings of who you are.
One of the things that you mention in a lot of your work that I have heard a few times before, but don't really understand. So maybe that means that somebody in my community doesn't understand also. Talk to me about this thing called the collective. I don't really know what the collective is. I'm assuming it's a universal voice that everyone helps to get the frequency and the vibration raised to a proper level, but I'm not 100% sure. What's the collective?
So if you think of yourself as a soul in a body, okay, a soul having a human experience, which you are and I am, right? Jaylee is and everyone is, right? And if you imagine that you're this light, actually, every single person on this planet is exactly that. They're a soul having a human experience. And so they chose, it's kind of like volunteering, really. This is a bit like a playground of university. And so we are humanity, and that is known as the collective. So we are collective humanity. So we're collective souls. And some people believe in soul groups and so on, but we're a collective community, and we're all here to bring more light to the planet. So however we do that will be our own specific choice, however we want to do that. And it is perfect, whatever someone wants to do, but we do it with light and we do it with joy. And that's what the collective is. So when we're healing ourselves, if I'm healing myself, which I continually do, to be honest, I'm transforming my light. So as I'm transforming my light, you're feeling it. Yeah. So you feel my light, I feel your light. And that's why we can feel if somebody, we can feel if somebody's sad, we can feel if someone's angry. And that is because we have this real expanded energy of a GPS, and we can actually feel the person's energy. So that's what the collective is. And then the collective in the sense of spirit is that we have the ninth dimensional Palladians that work with me. We have the Syrian collective. There's many collectives, and they're all the same. They're all like a community of light. Okay.
It's like
so that's kind of how
like
I see
subreddit,
it.
like a lot of different categories on Reddit that you can actually have a chance. If you're a Mustang fan, you go over to an Instagram page and you go to @Mustang Podcast, which happens to be my Mustang Podcast account. But you're only going to see pictures of Mustangs, but we are all a collective within that community. I like it.
Yeah.
I mean, it kind of reminds me of that old Coca-Cola commercial. I like to teach the world to sing in perfect harmony. Like we're all working in harmony together to raise the vibration of the world, of all things. And how great a place would it be, you know, as John Lennon says, imagine this world if we can all just get on the same page together. We don't need war.
Yeah.
We don't need famine. We don't need poverty. We don't need a lot of the things that are being expressed on this earth because of a difference of religion, a difference of opinion, a difference of policy and government. Who cares? Why can't we all just get along? I mean, why can't we all get along, Susan? What is it that creates this? Here, the universal question: how do we create world peace? This is your chance to shine, Susan.
I love this, actually. I love these kind of questions. So I can only talk from my perspective. Okay. But from my perspective, the way I see it is what's happening right now in the world, in the sense of some fear, some, anger, drama, all the stuff that's going on, is just a reflection of us. And it's just a reflection of us releasing these parts of us. And I'm an astrologer as well. So I'm looking at like what's going on in the astrology. And I can see that in the astrology, there's this big transformation. When this goes out, it's away yet. But as we're recording this, we're just coming up to the solar eclipse in Scorpio, which is really about deep karmic healing. And so actually that will still be relevant because in March 2023, that's when it comes to an end. But at the moment, we're going through that. And this is bringing up big stuff. And we can choose to be angry about it, to get fed up about it. We can choose to feel a victim, or we can choose to do our inner work. And so that's what I'm all about, is helping people realize that they're not disempowered and they don't have to necessarily follow something that does not fit their own values. That's how I'll say it. Okay. So, somebody might decide to do something or be a part of something, but if it isn't your value and you go along with it, you're not in alignment with your true empowerment. And that's what I think we have to do. I used to want to step on my soapbox, but I don't do that anymore. I just quietly do what I do.
Well, and you don't need to, because you don't have to step on the soapbox, because there are so many people that are willing to listen to you instead of changing the minds of the loud people that want to oppose you. Yeah. Why not work with the tide of people that already have the same beliefs as you?
That's what I do.
It's a lot easier hill to climb, or a lot easier hill to descend from, because you're already talking to your community. They say that books are like children. In this case, it took 3 years to birth this book, or a little bit longer to birth this book, that you finally were able to get out there to the world. Tell us a little bit about the book, how it's put together, and we'll talk from there.
Sure. I mean, I remember standing on the stage at the New Media Summit, and I met you there, and we had lots of fun with everybody. And I remember thinking, I don't have a podcast. This was October 2019. I don't have a book, but I do have a course. And I was like, interesting. And by March 20, I had a podcast called The Spiritual Awakener, as you know, because you produce it for me and your team, and have done ever since. And I also realized that I'd channeled quite a lot of my book at that point. It wasn't out, and there wasn't really anything happening with it. But I knew that I'm a person, when I say I'm going to do something, I do it. And so then I entered the Hay House Writers Competition, which is an international writers competition. And I entered and I won. And incredible. I won an amazing publishing, I know, right? I won an amazing publishing contract, which I was offered last June 21. So June 21, I found out. And this year in October 22, it was finally published. So Awaken the Light Within Your Heart, which is a self-healing book, of course, is out. It's on Amazon. It's, I know you have the links in the show notes, but it's on Amazon. It's on Audible. So you can get it on hardback, softback, Kindle, and audio with my voice. So whatever you choose. And it is split into 3 parts. The first part is about my spiritual awakening, how I became to do who I am, who I am and what I became to be in the world. And also some other bits. I won't spoil it. And the second part is all from the guides. So the guides channel through many different healing processes. And most of it, I don't even remember because it's channeled through me. And they really talk about love. They talk about money. They talk about manifesting, animals, you name it. They talk about it. So there's subjects throughout it. It's very easy to read. And then the third section is all of my 5th dimensional processes. So these are processes. It's like a toolbox on the third section. So it's all tools where you can heal yourself. And I take you through it step by step. And I teach these processes and I use them all the time. So they are tried and tested for many, many years. And throughout those processes are people's experiences of them. So there are testimonials throughout where people talk to you about what they've experienced by doing the processes, for example, healing relationships and healing childhood trauma. So it's really great. I'm loving it. It's, in October, it sold out very quickly, and then Amazon had to reprint everything really quickly.
I love that for you. I love that for you because I can't think of anybody that is more deserving of that type of success than you. Not only with your show that I know has had a great impact, but the book will have the same or not more impact for you because you'll get to do all sorts of things like podcast tours, like this.
Sure, and it goes on international book fair tour. So from November 22, it's in Mexico, and then it's in London, then it's in New York. I'm actually coming out to New York in June 23. So if you're around,
I'm on the other coast. Well. I'm still 2,700 miles from there.
Yeah, I know.
But if you guys in our community are there, right? you should get there.
Yeah, absolutely. I'll do a book signing, and I'm going to do an in-person event out in New York as well. And then it goes to Beijing, and then it goes to Frankfurt. So it's a whole year of international tour, which I won't be at all. I'll just kind of dip in and out. I'll go to New York and London, but I probably won't do the others, maybe Germany, we'll see. But it's, it's got legs itself. So the publishers are taking it with them and they're showcasing it, which is just amazing. So I just feel like the universe just went, there you go. And it continues to happen. And I only just all I had was when I sent it in was for the competition. I just went, if this is meant to be out in the world, that people can heal themselves, then so be it. And that was it. That's all I did.
That is awesome. And success is definitely, I know that you won't toot your own horn, but I'm happy to toot your horn for you because you do such a great job of not only presenting your material, but in actually delivering the goods. I mean, you are someone that has just gone completely beyond talking the talk. You are walking the walk, and it's so appreciated for those in our community to see, because it's not that you just do these programs, but you're a business owner also. And I want to talk to that person for just a second as the business owner, because many in my community could relate. You've made a business out of something that was your passion and your gift. Talk to those in our community that regardless of what business or gift they are thinking that, they have, or they're thinking about, starting, how did you do it? Maybe just share maybe a thumbnail sketch of just the belief in yourself enough to get there.
Absolutely. Actually, I think it was stepping out of the spiritual closet for me. So I was psychologist, psychotherapist, had an amazing practice in London in Harley Street, which is a renowned place. I started to get into the media, and I was interviewed, and I was on a TV, a terrestrial TV kind of documentary. And then it was like, I actually need to say that who I am, because I was interviewed about it. And once I started really owning who I was and not hiding behind the psychologist hat and the psychotherapist hat and the trauma hat. Once I started to really realize that I had to own and be completely authentic, and as you say, walk your talk, actually, and really be it, then the doors started opening. And I would say to anybody, no matter what, as you said, what field they're in, it's really about passion, and it's really about honoring yourself, not giving yourself away, not giving all your time, not giving all of that, actually honoring yourself and saying, you know what, this is what I really want to bring to the collective. Oh, my guides are kicking in now. So what I'm hearing is have a vision for others. That's what I'm hearing. Thank you. Have a vision for others. So as you have a vision for others, that you get taken care of. That's the key thing. I'm like saying this is the key thing. So basically the vision for others, and not having a kind of, I have to make this amount of money. Right. Okay. That is important, of course, but to actually have a vision of infinity. Like I'm not thinking when I put my book out there, I didn't think I'm going to make this amount of money. I just went, this is what I want to bring out. It's another stream of income, of course, but it is a way to reach people. So if you're a podcaster or if you do whatever you do, it's about your vision for others and what you feel those others will gain and benefit from you bringing yourself to the world or bringing a product to the world or whatever it might be, you know?
So
that's key.
We did not have even a moment to talk about squirrels like we talked on the last episode of the Nice Guys on Business podcast. I feel a little remiss that we didn't even mention the squirrels. I don't even remember how we got onto the squirrels in the last conversation, but we never seemed to get back on track. And you know what? I was kind of okay.
I told you a joke. Yeah, I told you a joke many moons ago. We won't go into grey squirrels and red squirrels. Anyway.
I understand.
We won't worry about it.
Well, and if you want to hear the squirrel joke, maybe you just have to go back, a Nice Guy Community, and listen to that episode, which is now in the linked in the show notes as well. Susan, well, one more question, because I really do want to know this, and then I know I've kept you well beyond at least 3 or 4 minutes beyond where I told you, and I always like to live by my promises, so I apologize. May I ask permission to ask you one more question?
You may.
Awesome. Where do you see this? Not just your book, but your career, your business. Where do you see this? If you were to look down the path a handful of years, number one, would you believe that you were where you are now 3 years ago? And then maybe 3 years from now, where would you look down the path and can you get there?
I mean, that's a few questions.
Yeah, sorry.
But, would I believe? would I believe?
I didn't stick to it at all. Sorry, I'm sorry.
Those 3 years ago to look where I am now, I actually don't know, but I always had a vision. And my vision now is to physically travel with, with my children, of course, but with myself, and just travel and reach people. And I feel like the in-person is coming back. Like I really want to be back, doing the in-person and giving people hugs and sitting by the pool and having a drink like we did.
Hey, what do we have? What were we drinking? What were you drinking? I'm on to old fashions now. What were we drinking then? We were drinking something else. It was liquor. I can't remember what it was though.
We don't get it here in the UK. So it was I
can't remember what we were drinking. It was something really good though.
Fire something.
Fireball. Something? That's right. We were drinking Fireball.
That's it, Fireball.
Oh yeah, I still drink that. I still drink that. It's really good.
Yeah, hashtag. so basically that was where I was. And so if I'm thinking about a vision, I don't really, because I trust implicitly in my guidance, I trust implicitly that I'm living in the moment, I'm enjoying the moment. I know that tomorrow's moment will be just equally as great. I kind of don't think to myself, I have to be there. So what I do is I just say to my guides, I was like, where would you like me now? Where can I best serve? Where can I best be? And I know, and I can see it because I'm clairvoyant, but I can see America again, and I can see other countries, and I can see that. So I'm just like, okay, if I'm meant to be there and America lets me in, then I'll be there. and I've got that kind of plan, but it's a tentative plan because as we're shifting our timelines and we're shifting who we are, things change, and we have to be okay with that. We have to be okay with change and transformation. So I haven't really got a set plan, but I have definitely got a tentative knowing I'm going to travel plan.
I love the question, where am I meant to be? I love that. I really don't feel like I ask myself that question. It's more like me telling the universe, this is where I need to be, or this is where I want to be. It's not asking the question, where do I need,
your soul.
Yeah.
Connect with your soul, come into your heart, find loads of stuff on my website if people are interested. But you come into your heart, you listen, you drop out of your head and you come into your heart space. And you then close your eyes and you say, okay, I don't know where I'm meant to be. I don't know how this is going to work out, but you just show me. Yeah. And then you're asking your higher self. You're asking the part that knows, that knew always where you're supposed to be.
I might have said this on my last episode, not with you, but the last one that I just recorded, which was a little bit earlier today. And it is amazing to me that I see this over and over again, but I don't really recognize it. It takes 37 minutes of an interview to get to the part of the interview. Like, I could encapsulate everything that we just talked about in the last 2 sentences that you said. And the whole idea of just trying to figure out where it is that we are meant to be, and just surrendering to that, and just allow and stop being in here in your head. I'm pointing to my head. Nice Guy Community audio interview, right, Doug, not video. Stop talking from here, your head, talk from your heart, and feel into it. Where is it that you are meant to be? And it's really interesting how the answer arrives. Sometimes it doesn't arrive that day. You might not know. We have no idea.
It's okay not to know. Yeah, it's okay not to know. Yeah, it's just like, and it's okay just to say, okay, I don't know how it's going to work out. It might be a relationship, might be your financial situation, it might be your new business. But I don't know how it's going to work out, but I'm trusting that I'm going to be guided. And that is a perfect place to start.
Susan, tons of success with the book. I'm so glad that it is out. I'm so glad that you asked to, or I can't remember how we got back to, hey, the book is coming out. Can you get on the show? Whether I noticed it or you said, I want to be on the show. Or
you did. I told you about my book and you went,
I said, let's get on the show. That's right. So I appreciate me for reaching out to you again to share it, because I think that we would be a little bit short some great content had you not been here. So thank you for sharing your wisdom on the show today. Thanks, Susan, for being here.
Yeah, thanks. And if everyone listens to my podcast, Doug actually introduces my podcast, so you'll recognize his voice.
Yeah, I'm the intro guy on the podcast. It's called The Spiritual Awakener. Is that the name of the show? No, it's Spiritual. That's right.
Yeah, The Spiritual Awakener.
I've done so many, Susan. I was like, I'm hoping that's the name of the show. I seem to be sticking my head. So, Nice Guy Community, head over to definitely over to Apple Podcasts or Spotify, or over to Susan's website. We'll make sure we put a link in the show notes. You'll have access to not only the information there, but everywhere that you get your podcast is where Susan is as well. Susan, thanks for being on the show today.
Thanks so much, Doug. It's been amazing, as always. Thanks, my love.
Nice Guy Community, never underestimate the power of nice. Again, check out episode 986, or this episode 1400 and something. Special thanks to Susan Kennard. Did I pronounce it right? I know I always said Kennard, but it's the wrong emphasis on the wrong syllable. It's Kennard, correct?
So it's Kennard.
Yeah. Well, she never says I'm right. She just goes ahead. She just says it for me. Steve O'Brien, go ahead and take us out of here.
For the Nice Guys on Business, I'm Steve O'Brien. Fill up your week with the Nice Guys. The Nice Guys on Business are publishing 5 episodes a week. My master plan is working.